Stand here in the winter of 1348, just outside the walls of London, and the first thing you would notice is not the silence. It is the smell. Wood smoke, mud, river water, rotting straw, animals packed too close together. And beneath it all, something heavier, something the city has not yet found a name for. Because London is still alive, but death has already entered the gates. It was crowded, loud, filthy, ambitious, and endlessly moving. Traders arrived by ship on the Thames. Bakers opened their ovens before sunrise. Priests rang bells over narrow streets. Apprentices shouted from shop fronts. Horses dragged carts through mud and waste. This was not the London of stone bridges and royal ceremony alone. This was a city of sweat. A city of markets. A city of hunger, prayer, gossip, money, and disease. And now, as rumors travel faster than any army, London begins to hear stories from the coast. Whole villages struck down. Ships arriving with dead men aboard. Families disappearing in a matter of days. Priests unable to bury the dead fast enough. At first, many do not believe it. London has survived fires, floods, famine, war. But this time, the enemy is invisible. And by the time the city understands what has arrived, it is already too late. To enter medieval London, you pass through one of its great gates, beneath thick stone walls built to protect the city from armies. But walls cannot stop a plague. Inside, the streets are narrow and shadowed, with upper floors leaning over the road so closely that neighbors can almost shake hands from opposite windows. Sunlight falls in thin strips between timber houses. Rainwater runs through open channels. Pigs root through refuse. Chickens scatter beneath carts. Dogs bark at strangers. The city is alive in every direction. In Cheapside, the great marketplace, merchants call out prices over the noise of hammers, bells, and wheels. Cloth sellers display bright wool. Fishmongers lay out silver bodies from the Thames. Butchers stand beside red-stained tables. The air is thick with salt, smoke, blood, ale, and human breath. This is where London gathers, and this is where plague finds opportunity. People touch the same coins, drink from the same cups, sleep in crowded rooms, share beds with family, servants, travelers, and sometimes strangers. Privacy is rare. Space is precious. Clean water is never guaranteed. In a city like this, disease does not need to run. It only needs to be carried. The first signs are small. A man near the docks wakes with a fever. A woman in a crowded parish complains of pain beneath her arms. A child grows weak before evening prayers. At first, these are ordinary tragedies. Medieval life is full of sickness. People die young. Illness is expected. But then the pattern changes. The fever burns hotter. The pain sharpens. Dark swellings appear in the groin, neck, and armpits. Some victims cough blood. Others collapse before a priest can arrive. The healthy in the morning may be dying by nightfall. And fear begins to move faster than the disease itself. In churches, people crowd together beneath painted images of saints, begging for mercy. Candles flicker in the darkness. Voices tremble through Latin prayers. Some confess sins they have hidden for years. Others blame the air, the stars, foreigners, punishment from God, or the corruption of the city itself. But London keeps moving, because bread must still be baked, the river must still be crossed, the markets must still open. And for a little while, daily life continues beside death, as if the city is trying to pretend nothing has changed. Walk toward the Thames, and the illusion begins to break. The river is London's lifeline. It carries wine from Gascony, wool from English towns, fish, timber, stone, news, and danger. Ships crowd the banks. Sailors unload cargo beneath the shadow of the tower. Men shout over creaking ropes. Barrels roll across wet planks. But now, some ships arrive strangely quiet. A few crewmen are missing. Others are too weak to stand. Dock workers whisper that the sickness came by sea, from distant ports where entire neighborhoods have already fallen. The Thames does not only bring wealth, it brings the world. And in 1348, the world is infected. Near the river, the poorest live close together in damp rooms where smoke hangs low and straw bedding is rarely clean. Rats move through storehouses and alleys. Fleas travel unseen. But to the people of London, the true cause remains a mystery. They cannot see bacteria. They cannot understand transmission. They can only watch as one household after another marks itself with grief. A door closes. A bell rings. A body is carried out. Then another. Then another. By the height of the plague, London becomes a city of bells. Church bells ring for the dead so often that the sound loses its meaning. What once marked a single soul now becomes the rhythm of disaster. Mourners grow exhausted. Priests fall sick. Gravediggers vanish. Families are forced to make impossible choices. Do they stay with the dying and risk infection, or flee and abandon the people they love? In richer houses, servants are ordered to burn herbs, wash floors with vinegar, and keep strangers away. The wealthy retreat behind doors, but money offers only the illusion of safety. Plague enters manor houses, merchant homes, monasteries, and crowded alleys alike. In poorer streets, the suffering is more visible. A mother sits beside a feverish child as rain taps against the roof. An apprentice wakes to find his master dead. A young woman carries water through a lane where no one is calling out anymore. Somewhere, a priest hurries from one home to the next, knowing he may be walking toward his own death. This is the horror of the Black Death. Not only that people died, but that they died so quickly the living could barely understand what was happening. Soon, London runs out of ordinary graves. The churchyards cannot hold the dead. The small parish cemeteries, already crowded from generations of burial, are overwhelmed. So the city turns outward, beyond the busiest streets, to places where emergency cemeteries can be opened. At East Smithfield, near the Tower of London, graves are prepared with grim efficiency. At West Smithfield, outside the city walls, the dead are carried in numbers too large for the old rituals of grief. Some are buried carefully. Some are wrapped simply. Some arrive with no family left to speak their names. Imagine the scene: carts moving at dawn through mist, wheels sinking into wet earth, men working in silence because there is nothing left to say. The skyline of London behind them, its towers and church spires rising through smoke, while below, the city empties one body at a time. And yet, even here, humanity survives. These are not just plague victims. They are bakers, mothers, sailors, monks, children, merchants, servants, craftsmen, people who once laughed in taverns, argued in markets, prayed in churches, and believed tomorrow would look much like yesterday. History often counts them as numbers, but medieval London knew them as faces. Then, slowly, the city changes, not in a single moment, not with one announcement, but street by street, household by household. Silence gives way to something strange. Space. Too much space. Homes stand empty. Workshops lose their masters. Fields outside the city lack workers. Guilds search for apprentices. Landowners struggle to find labor. Survivors begin to understand that the world they knew has been broken. And in the breaking, power begins to shift. Workers who remain can demand better wages. Old rules are questioned. The value of a human life, at least economically, begins to change. The plague has not made the world fair. It has not ended poverty. It has not erased suffering, but it has shaken the foundations of medieval society. London survives, but it is not the same city. The streets still fill with traders. The bells still ring. Ships still arrive on the Thames. Markets reopen. Children are born into houses where older voices are missing. The city resumes its old noise, but beneath that noise is memory. A memory of locked doors, of empty beds, of carts in the morning mist, of a city that once believed itself protected by walls, wealth, prayer, and power, until death passed through all of them. Today, modern London rises over the same ground. Glass towers stand where medieval streets once twisted through mud. People who once laughed in taverns, argued in markets, prayed in churches, and believed tomorrow would look much like yesterday. History often counts them as numbers, but medieval London knew them as faces. Then, slowly, the city changes, not in a single moment, not with one announcement, but street by street, household by household. Silence gives way to something strange. Space. Too much space. Homes stand empty. Workshops lose their masters. Fields outside the city lack workers. Guilds search for apprentices. Landowners struggle to find labor. Survivors begin to understand that the world they knew has been broken. And in the breaking, power begins to shift. Workers who remain can demand better wages. Old rules are questioned. The value of a human life, at least economically, begins to change. The plague has not made the world fair. It has not ended poverty. It has not erased suffering, but it has shaken the foundations of medieval society. London survives, but it is not the same city. The streets still fill with traders. The bells still ring. Ships still arrive on the Thames. Markets reopen. Children are born into houses where older voices are missing. The city resumes its old noise, but beneath that noise is memory. A memory of locked doors, of empty beds, of carts in the morning mist, of a city that once believed itself protected by walls, wealth, prayer, and power, until death passed through all of them. Today, modern London rises over the same ground. Glass towers stand where medieval streets once twisted through mud. Thank you for watching our content.